From a distant galaxy, they have come to Earth. Welcome to Happy Suffer.
Fucking weird tagline.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
A battle fought in the stars now comes to Earth.
I kind of like that better, but
Only the universe could hold adventure this big.
I don't think there was any star fighting at all.
Yeah. And then the live-action motion picture. That's the one I should have picked.
yeah, that one at least is true.
Yeah.
I can't believe they could not figure out, and I have the power in here somewhere.
I'm really confused about that one.
Wow, the more like this on IMDb are the Dolph Lundgren Punisher, and then the Crispin Glover movie that he will not release. He only tours, where he made it all with people with Down syndrome.
Oh wow.
So I don't know what's going on with these. Oh, Howard the Duck.
Yeah, this is just like extremely curated. That's all.
Yeah, apparently. This is episode 331, I believe, of I Be Suffer. Fuck it, I'm Skeletor.
I'm Karg.
I was gonna be Karg. I'll be.
You're Man at Arms, clearly.
I was gonna say I'll be Man at Arms. If I can't be
Or
Karg,
Beast Man.
Man at Arms is what it'll be.
You should have been.
Guess I could be Gwildor.
You could be Orko and just leave the episode, not be here.
Yes.
All right, actually, sounds good.
This week we're talking about 1987's Masters of the Universe, which was a Patreon pick from Mac. This movie fucking rocks.
Yeah, thank God for you, Mac. After what Tiffany did to us, and I just.
Yeah, this was like my favorite movie until about probably 94, I think, whatever The Crow came out. And then that took
I thought you were going to say like 2 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, hey, this movie still rocks, so I had no problems rewatching this. But I did have fun rewatching it I think this is the first time I've watched it since Kostansky had told us that like all of the sets for Cyborg were supposed to be like sets for the sequel to this. And so all I could do watching it this time was being like, how the fuck?
Yeah.
Try to figure out the connections.
How are they going to crucify fucking He-Man in this? What's your guys' history with this movie?
Go, Katie, go.
Oh. I guess I don't have one. I thought I had seen this, but what I think I was thinking of was actually Flash Gordon. And
weird.
I don't I can't figure myself out. But I just like, I don't know, I guess I had never seen this before, and I don't have like any history with like He-Man or Masters of the Universe at all, aside from that for some reason I had a huge Battle Cat toy.
Hell yeah.
Where who even knows where I got it from, because like I said, he's like that big green guy and he had the armor and stuff, but I didn't have like any of the guys that went on it, so he just was like my Barbie's pet, which that's pretty cool.
Barbie deserves a Battle Cat too.
It's probably why I have 12 cats today. And then
can any of them battle?
Yes. I can't really ride on any of them, but they can battle. They're pretty good at battling, actually.
You just need more cats.
You
could ride on like 100 cats, I bet.
Yeah, they could just like amalgam together, and I can ride on them. Yeah,
like a cat wave.
I mean, I'm definitely working on it, to be fair. And then like my only other like recollection, like obviously I know who He-Man is, but that episode that the Toys That Made Us did. I found so fascinating because wasn't this like one of the ones that they created the toys
Yeah, these were toys before.
and then they created the
Uh,
show to like advertise them or whatever,
yeah, I believe that's the case.
which I think is insane. And then well, anyways, so this was my first time watching this and I thought it was so fun. I like genuinely really liked it. Um, like obviously it's a little long. However, I thought it was really cool. I loved all the costumes, obviously, like the sets. I thought the special effects in it still really, really held up. And it has like a one
What
that
about when
like
He-Man's zooming around on that like hoverboard thing?
I thought it
The
looked
sickest
I
part.
thought it looked fine, actually. Like I thought it looked pretty good still. And it took me 55 minutes to realize that that was actually Courtney Cox. I was like, wow, she looks so familiar. She kind of looks like Courtney Cox.
You didn't recognize her from her like
Spoiler alert.
previous role of dancing in the Bruce Springsteen video?
No, unfortunately, I did. Actually, the hoverboard scene is playing right here, and I stand by what I said. It looks pretty good.
It looks insane. I
Um,
love it.
but it has that like nostalgic charm to me that like I don't know, like Star Wars or like the original Dune or a Dungeons and Dragons kind of thing has, where like the rock walls are sculpted and all that stuff. But yeah, I don't really have anything bad to say about it except kind of long. Obviously, not for like I don't know.
It's yeah,
Some of it
weird.
kind of drags, but
We'll
visually, I found it very cool to watch.
we'll clearly get into it, but it's like it's one of those ones where like watching it as an adult, I'm like I understand why this failed because it's the same way that like all of the comic book movies failed at the time because they had like no concept of actually like making the movie what like the comics or cartoon was. They
Hmm.
just made like a fucking weird thing for like adults that like has no connection to what it actually originally was. But so it's super weird. Like nobody wanted to see them on Earth. They wanted to see them in like Eternia fighting. They
I mean,
didn't.
That's
yeah.
too expensive.
Yeah, how dare how they would have had to just stay in that desert. And like their
Well,
shit were like uh I can't think of his name now. Like Gilmore, like not Gilmore Girls. Is that what it's called? Yeah,
yeah.
that the little fucking dwarf dude in this like is not a real character. They just did not want to take the
Oh,
time to figure out how to do Orko, so they just like
Rogel.
replaced it.
I'm
Amazing.
not gonna lie, he was a little freaky looking to
he
me,
he
but
rocks. What's your like history with this movie, Kit?
So I've never given a shit about He-Man. Like it was not a thing for me growing up. Never ever got into it getting older. But this was one that I'd always been curious about because it's like, oh cool, like, sword fantasy sci-fi kind of thing, and it's got Dolph Lundgren. And I finally watched it for the first time. I want to say it was only like 2 years ago or something. I saw it on like Netflix or Tubi or something, and it rocked. It's one that I put firmly in that like David Lynch Dune camp, where
Yeah,
it's like just it's not a good movie, but it's fucking dumb and it rocks, and it's visually like astounding.
yeah.
It's just a good time.
Like you could tell, like this is the movie that Kanan fucking went out of business on because they
Oh
actually
yeah,
put money into it, but like everything except like making it like the cartoon or something.
right.
Like
Trying to make it a coherent film.
I I was like borderline into He-Man. Like it was one of those ones where like I remember I watched the cartoon as a kid and I had some of the toys, but like I don't remember seeing this in the context of being a He-Man fan more than just like my parents probably taking us to the theater because it was a He-Man movie.
Mhm.
Right.
And so like I don't know, I fucking loved this movie when I was a kid. I was like 5 when this came out, so this was like I was just like hell yeah, there's fucking lasers. Who cares that He-Man doesn't use a gun? Since like all he does in this movie is fire a fucking laser gun at people instead of using his sword.
Right.
And
That's the other thing is being unfamiliar with He-Man. Watching this, I was like, were there like weird stormtrooper guys with
it's
laser guns in the cartoon show?
no, it's so funny because like I guess like they had the rights. They were going to be doing a Spider-Man movie, and then they just like went bankrupt pretty soon after this.
Yeah.
And like I just picture their Spider-Man being essentially exactly like this.
Definitely.
For some reason,
Incredible.
not
Spider-Man. Give Spider-Man a gun.
yeah.
You know,
Spider-Man's
I'm always saying.
Spider-Man's got laser guns. For some reason, he's not in New York. He's in space. Like,
Yeah.
Space
um,
York.
but yeah, I was obsessed with this movie as a kid. And like I remember this is one of the ones that like my parents for some reason probably spent the like $80 on a VHS for, and I remember just watching it all the fucking time as a kid. And yeah, it rocks. Frank Langella, Problematic King, just fucking crushing it. Like he's like Michael Caine in the Muppets movie where he is like does not know what he's in and he is killing it.
Yeah.
He hasn't seen his costume either. He's just like, well, I'll just do this. It's fine.
Well, I guess both him and Dolph Lundgren had talked about where like Frank Langella's like, no, I stand by that fucking performance. I am crushing it. I did so much to make that a real character, blah, blah. And Dolph Lundgren's like, that's probably the worst thing I've ever done.
Yeah, I have to be totally honest. He kind of did nothing for me in this movie, but
Well, good.
I was gonna say, I also don't, even though this is, I mean, it's Masters of the, isn't the show called He-Man and the Masters of the Universe or something?
Another like misstep.
Yeah, I would argue that he's like not even the main character of this movie.
Oh,
so
Courtney Cox is. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, it's Karg.
Yeah,
it is Karg. I will say that, like, again, absolutely, like, so, you know, they kind of just like did that thing where they took like the idea of like the characters and their universe and then were like, okay, let's do Earth stuff. So the main characters are kind of like Julie, who, like you said, is Courtney Cox, and her like boyfriend or whatever. But I will say that like I do kind of appreciate that like this isn't the kind of movie that ended with like the main character girl falling in love with like He-Man, because that's kind of like what I expected. And she's just like, no, I'm just gonna chill with my weenie Earth boyfriend instead of this scantily clad man from space, you know? Like, so I appreciated that part of it. I gotta say, my favorite character though was definitely Tila and the sorceress. I loved her.
Miscast in this movie.
Is she?
Yeah, like Tila is like I mean, she's not like She-Ra is clearly like, you know, female He-Man, but like she's just like she's so bland in this movie compared to like the cartoon character.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm gonna look at her.
Like I wanted that cosmic key thing to be a real musical instrument so fucking bad when I was a kid, and I still do now. I just imagine I could, like, I remember as a kid being like, oh my god, when I'm older and I could actually get one of those things. Because that thing looks cool as fuck. Like, all of the design stuff in this movie rocks.
Yeah, I loved everybody's costume. I thought the costume design was like so fun. Like I said, I really liked the sorceress.
It's literally like they did so much stuff for like the bad guys.
Yeah,
and then like He-Man, Man-at-Arms, and Tila, they're just like, here's some spandex, I guess.
They kind of do, they're way less flashy, I guess, but.
And it's so funny because it's one of those ones that like the minute they get to Earth, I'm like, no one fucking sees these people just fucking like stomping around, especially He-Man.
No,
He-Man's just
looks fine to me.
Wearing his Speedo and a cape.
Unsurprising.
It was the 80s, you know?
Yeah. Did you take any notes for this?
No.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure before we just like kept fucking talking.
Only vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially it was vibes, yes.
I mean, the fucking story is like the most generic like the fucking thing they did in the 80s. And they're just like, what if this guy from a different world came to Earth and like had like the one thing I'm glad they didn't do is like I'm glad. Well, I mean, I guess Courtney Cox and her boyfriend are supposed to be teenagers, even though they look like they're 35. But I'm so glad it's not like a fucking 8-year-old they're having to like hang out with the whole movie. It's because like
Yeah.
all of these things are always like we need like the kids to have someone they could connect to in these, and like
That's who the freaky little troll guy is.
yeah, I know.
He was so
they're
creepy.
clearly fucking Beast Boy or whatever the fuck his name was. Even though was it Beast Boy? Because
Huh?
so one of the bad guys that doesn't talk, that's like the weird monster dude, the big hairy guy, is like I think his name's Beast Boy, which maybe
Beast Man.
Beast Man.
Yeah, I think
is
it's
that what it
Beast
was?
Man. Yeah,
I was like Beast.
He's not a Beast Boy. He's a Beast Man.
I don't know.
he's grown.
Pretty fucking useless in this movie.
He is grown. Yeah,
Wait, who was Pig Boy?
that was me.
One of the guys, one of the guys in this movie is credited as Pig Boy, Pig Boy and Warlord. Who the fuck was Warlord?
I couldn't tell
I'm
you.
guessing there's maybe like some fucking weird characters that they just like popped into the background at the beginning or something that we didn't see or like ever actually interact with.
Yeah, the whole like opening scene where we're like introduced to Skeletor and the Sorceress and stuff. There's also like creatures in the background.
Yeah, like that's again, it's so funny to me that this movie like spends 0 time in Eternia. Like
yeah, and when they do, it's like a cave, like the inside of like a cave.
Like the entire
castle.
like the only things you see is like a fucking matte painting of like Castle Grayskull, and then like desert shit, and then they're just on Earth.
Yeah.
But I guess at least the inside of Grayskull looks cool, despite not looking like Castle Grayskull.
Yeah.
It's just again, like I don't know. I've like watching movies like this that are adaptations of shit from like the 80s and early 90s. It's so funny, and like being in a world now where like at least shit like this they like lean more heavy into the source material a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Because they just kind of like after like the Marvel shit, that's just what they started to realize, at least a very vocal portion of like the audience wanted, despite most of them being dumb and racist about like the fucking Star Wars crowd and shit, where they're just like, well, we want it to be like the things we've already seen. And so it's just so funny to me, like seeing this, or even watching some of those like weird like 80s like I guess even like the Punisher, like the Dolph Lundgren Punisher and shit, where like it's the least like the character they could have possibly done, but it still rocks. Dolph Lundgren, I think, is just the key. If people put Dolph Lundgren in your movie, I don't give a shit if like it's accurate or not.
Yeah, sure.
Put him some big ass boots, I'm in.
Yeah, it's kind of just like they're just like, I like this character and I want this guy to play it, so let's just like make something up around it. I do feel like this movie, like when obviously I haven't really watched the cartoon or anything like that, but I get more of like a medieval, like I know it takes place in another planet or whatever. I get more of like a medieval fantasy vibe from that, whereas the movie I feel like leans heavily towards a sci-fi thing, which is why I was saying that it reminds me of like Star Wars or Dune.
No, yeah, it's very like I think outside of David Lynch's Dune being incomprehensible, I think that's like a pretty decent like comparison.
Yeah.
It's interesting because like Dolph Lundgren is not great in this, but I also am just like, I don't know who else from that time you could have cast, because like he at least somewhat like resembles what I would imagine like live action He-Man.
Yeah.
Because like it would have just been like fucking Stallone or some shit if it wasn't him.
Arnold.
But Arnold was already Conan.
Yeah, fair.
Conan O'Brien.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said it like that. Should have been Conan, but
Conan O'Brien. What is...
Yeah, give me Conan O'Brien as fucking He-Man.
Okay, I'm trying to Google Conan, like not Conan O'Brien, but that's what's coming up.
Just
Conan the
Conan the
Barbarian.
Barbarian.
Barbarian,
Okay.
which will
Maybe,
probably still bring
maybe.
up Conan O'Brien.
Yeah, definitely, actually. Maybe this is what I was thinking of, and not Flash Gordon. They all have the same vibes to me, though, to be honest with you.
I mean,
Uh,
yeah.
I think I've seen this. I was gonna say, what's the difference? Okay, well, obviously,
Well,
I can tell just by looking at him.
Conan is a talk show host, so that's a difference.
Yeah.
No, like the big difference is one of them is going for the lamentation of the women, and the other one is not.
Do do a
Conan has no
reboot.
sci-fi.
Yeah, it's
There are
all
no
like,
laser
I don't
guns
know if
in
that's
Conan the
true.
Barbarian.
I don't know. Reboot Masters of the Universe and Conan O'Brien can be Tila because apparently she was a redhead, and I don't know why they would take that away from us.
yeah, she's like the main one out of all of them, and I feel like really gets like short shafted in sort of
And I
the
still liked her, so they can't make me hate you, Tila.
she just doesn't look at all like she should, and like they
No,
just
and
don't
again,
really do anything with her, which is like I think the problem because she was like a main character. Like,
she's a badass, and she shot a speaker from across the parking lot.
yeah, that's rude.
Okay, she definitely
Guy's
saved
poor
the
guy
future.
is probably homeless now because his entire business was blown up.
You know what? That's fine.
They
Down
should
with
have given
capitalism.
him that cosmic key to fucking sell as an instrument.
I love how like one of my favorite scenes was when they're trying to like figure out they're like this is the scene where she shoots the speaker, but they're like standing there and he's like trying to figure out the tone or not, and then he's like, oh, okay, I remember it, and they're kind of like, well, how do you even know? And he's like, oh, I make music. It's like, you make music, why didn't you say so? And I was like, of course he does. He's like the SoundCloud DJ of the 1987 or whatever. And I was like, what a coincidence.
Yeah, I mean, they would have to be lucky enough to just stumble across apparently the only musician in this town.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find if there see if like the IMDb stuff has like any stuff that's like almost cast was blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Apparently Skeletor was originally just going to be thrown out of the throne room and fall into space, which I feel like everyone that makes these movies does not understand how that works. Because it's like everyone else would also be sucked out into space.
Nah, it's fine.
I always think about
Space is
that
very selective.
when like they do that in like the Alien movies. Where I'm like, the
Yeah.
minute you opened that, everything would be sucked out into space. But fine.
They should have done like in Lord of Illusion where Pit opened up and he fell through the planet into space.
I agree.
Now we're talking.
Honestly, everything should just be just like Lord of Illusion.
Yeah.
Yeah, every movie should just be Lord of
Porygon's
Illusion.
incoming. Yeah.
Let's see. This was Albert Pune's idea for the sequel. The film would have had Skeletor go back to Earth after being defeated by falling into a pit in the finale of the first movie. Pune said that Skeletor disguised himself as an evil industrialist known as Aaron Dark, who destroyed most of the world before He-Man can arrive on Earth to stop him.
Amazing.
Hell yeah.
And that Masters of the Universe Part 2 had ended with the Earth devastated as a post-nuclear world. Hell yeah. Someone make that movie. I need to see I need to see a movie where Skeletor just kills everyone on Earth.
Yeah.
Via capitalism.
Yeah, it's just fucking The Omen 3.
Yeah. I was gonna I literally was about to say I imagine him showing up his like in his alter did you say his name was Aaron Dark?
Yeah.
What
He
a
shows
name.
up as his alter ego and he's like wearing like a suit and shit with like his hair cut to the side just like what's his face except like his face is still Skeletor and like nobody notices.
He's just got a suit on.
Yeah, there's like, oh, there's this new businessman in town, and it's just like fucking Skeletor in a suit.
Yeah, all the stormtroopers apparently were because Mattel refused to let any of the characters actually kill people in it. So
Okay.
I'm like, but you never once state that these are like robots.
Also, in a movie that's like clearly not really for children to buy toys based off of, like I could barely follow like this movie as it is. I don't think kids are following what's going on.
I knew exactly what was going on.
Shut up.
5-year-old Nathan was like, I get it.
Yeah, a genius.
Yes.
I get it. You picked it up from the vibes. Like, I
Like,
know exactly what
yeah,
this
you
is
shoot
about.
laser guns. Give me a laser gun. I'll be like He-Man.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing anything. There has to. There's no way they didn't be like, here's like our short list of people that could have played He-Man. Let's see. Albert Pune's
Hmm.
film sequel would have had professional surfer Laird Hamilton as He-Man because Dolph Lundgren was not coming back.
Yeah, easy pick.
Um, wait, who was Chuck Norris supposed to be? Apparently, Chuck Norris was maybe going to be in the sequel that was going to be called Masters of the Universe 2 Cyborg.
Could have been Beastman.
Oh no! Wait, what? Oh no! So Cyborg, I guess over the years, some television listings have billed it as Masters of the Universe 2 Cyborg.
Hmm.
I'm not understanding what this says to say that Chuck Norris was supposed to be somebody, but Chuck Norris should have been He-Man. Good old Christian He-Man.
I'm confused about this. On IMDb says connections, and it says edited into The Adventures of Huck Finn, 1993. What
Sure.
does that mean? How is that possible?
I don't know. Look up Huck Finn 1993. See
Let's
if
see.
He-Man's in
Bill
it.
Conti reused some of the original composition he had. Oh, maybe they're talking about the music competition he had originally previously created. I was like, how do you edit this movie into being Adventures of Huck Finn?
I am. Yeah, I guess Dolph Lundgren was the first person cast in this. I wonder if he's the only person they went to play it. Because it's like I said, like trying to rack my brain over like who would have been like a name at the time that could have played He-Man. Like it's really like one of those three of like Lundgren, Stallone, or Schwarzenegger, but like neither of those other two would have been like remotely good at this. And or well, I mean, I guess Schwarzenegger kind of, but he had already essentially done the
Yeah,
like uh dumb guy
scantily
version
clad
of it
man.
where he just says like 10 words in the whole movie. I think.
Yeah,
I haven't
this
seen that.
epic.
I haven't seen Conan the Barbarian in a long time.
Rocks.
Yeah, it's so good.
This doesn't make okay. So this says this is a FAQ question, and it says, "Wait a minute, He-Man never killed anyone in the cartoon series. Why is He-Man fighting and smashing Skeletor's crack troops?"
Yeah,
And it
the
says, "You are
Romans.
right. In the cartoon, he never killed anyone," which was a no for a cartoon aimed at children. But Masters of the Universe, which was darker than the cartoon, which the film is based on, was an action movie, and Skeletor's crack troops, which were written as robot warriors, were created for He-Man to smash, fight, and kill. Okay, great.
I guess one of the things I had read was that originally they were like they were supposed to be like borderline no violence throughout the movie. Like
Mm.
you would have seen like maybe half the amount of him like beating up these stormtroopers. But I guess like the toy line, like in the process of making the movie, just started to like the sales were just like dwindling, and Mattel was just like, "All right, do whatever you want." This movie just sounds
Yeah,
like it was a fucking nightmare to make.
yeah, because I feel like when you look at the characters, they're like very clearly like battle guys. So I don't know how you can have them not battling,
Yeah,
you
you know
know?
how many of the toys I had from He-Man that had like that were like battle damage ones, where like you could like hit a thing and it would look like their suit got fucking cut or whatever.
Amazing.
Yeah, back in the good old days of capitalism when you could just get the same character 48 times as a toy, just with
And
different
then
fucking scratches on them.
that, or they would like color them a different color and be like, "This is a new guy."
Also, biggest flaw: where the fuck's Battle Cat in this movie?
That's what I want to know.
Where's
I
Battle
remember
Cat
Battle
and
Cat. I
Barbie?
want Battle Cat.
You
Yeah,
spend too much money on the desert, okay?
where is 1998 Olympic Barbie that you could spin and make her do somersaults and stuff?
Well, I can tell you 1998 Barbie was not created yet.
Well, I was 4 months old when this movie came out, okay? So I don't know.
It's no excuse. You could have gone to Toys R Us.
Why wasn't my mom taking my 4 month old baby to KB Toys to get my battle guys?
Can you know how sick it would have been if they would have went to Earth and He-Man was just riding around on Battle Cat?
So amazing.
Fucking eating
Well,
ribs
especially
out of a
because
bucket like the rest of them are doing in that bush.
that's true. And especially because they would have made like a real scale animatronic battle cat. And it would have been the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
This movie
And
would
here
have
we are.
cost another like 20 million to make.
I understand that, but
Let's talk about Gwildor being cool as fuck
Ugh,
with his weird cheeks.
horrific. Melty.
Would you be surprised to know he was also in Willow and Lord of the Rings and Legend?
No. No, I would not.
Well, I think his is the anime. Yeah, it's the animated Lord of the Rings, but it was that.
The new one? Oh,
No,
the old,
the
old
Ralph
one.
Bakshi one where I think they
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
filmed people and like rotoscoped them, maybe.
oh, I
Yeah.
hate it. I hate it so much. It freaks me out.
Who was he in it?
That's what I'm trying to find out. I believe this is the rotoscoped one. He is character actor. It's just it's credit.
Yeah,
Sick.
I remember him.
Loved him as
there's
character actor.
there's like 10 people on Letterboxd just like credited as character actor. I'm guessing they just did a bunch of like different background or side character things,
Yeah.
but it
Wait,
doesn't seem like he was one of like the main.
did you say that he's not original, like from the actual cartoon?
No, so Orko, the flying ghost guy that has like no face, it's just like eyes and a hood, like is essentially his like counterpart in the cartoon, but they could not figure out how to do Orko in the live action
Okay.
version, so they just like changed it to this guy.
I love Orko.
I feel like this character has probably then popped up in like future things.
Well, because I googled him just to just take a peeker, and I see like toys. Obviously, the toys came out after, which
I
but,
know Kevin Smith like produced or directed or something like the Netflix one that came out the last couple years. And I know that like he brought in a bunch of references to like some of the like this movie and like some of the like lesser seen cartoon adaptations and shit. And I feel like Gwildor probably made it in there.
yeah, it kind of seems like he was like embraced after this and became like a part of it.
Well, this movie like it had like the classic like everyone hated it when it came out, and then like once it kind of became like once like DVD and shit became way bigger, people were either like me that were nostalgic for it because they saw it when they were 5, or people that just like were like, no, this is actually like a pretty good movie if you take like the aspect of it being He-Man out of it.
Yeah.
Like I feel like this movie got like a real like can't think of the word.
Resurgence of
Reassessment.
Yeah, reassessment of like its quality, especially in the last like probably like decade, because it
Yeah.
rocks. It's like I think if if especially if you're not like a He-Man person, like you could clearly watch this and be like, yeah, this is like it's kind of crazy that they made this in like 1987 because it outside of some of like the effects being like very clearly like the 80s laser effects for the laser guns and shit, like it seems like it could have been something that was made recently. Like because so much of it's like that's it wasn't relying on like the CGI and shit outside of well, I guess I don't even know if that would have been like CGI wasn't really a thing in 87, I guess. So it probably was just like weird shitty computer effects for when he's like flying around on that disc and shit.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the only like effect in the movie that I'm like, yeah, this kind of like doesn't hold up, but also it rocks.
I think that maybe I just expected it to look
Worse.
worse. Like, I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting to watch this and be like, this to me 100% holds up. And even some of the, like, the flying, like I said, I think I just was like impressed with how well everything held up. Like, even the shitty like force powers that skeleton, whatever, is like bzz, when he's like, it's like purple or whatever. And that, like, his like flying battleship thing, I was like impressed by it still because it didn't.
It
This
it
is
would
like such a hard thing to explain, but it looked like even some of the like when they showed like I just said that spacecraft like moving down the street on Earth or whatever, it didn't look like two separate. Because you know how like they would record something like let's say they had a model flying through the sky and then they would like superimpose it on top of like
yeah,
the
yeah.
actual scene and you can visibly tell that it's like shot separately. It didn't have that quality to me. So I think that's why I was like this just like look like I looking at it could not in some ways like understand how they made it look like kind of legit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like I think everything holds up pretty well. And there's just like there's a couple scenes, and I think it's usually when it's like he's flying. Like I think when he first gets on the disc and he flies up that building or whatever, I was like, this looks like shit. But they should have literally just put like the actual He-Man toy on like the like a little disc and just like flew it around.
Someone threw it.
Yeah,
Like just hurled it.
it's like flipping all over the place. Someone
Yeah.
should like, I would bet someone has done this, but like I would pay money to watch this entire movie redone with just the toys.
Yeah.
I got to assume there's a Courtney Cox like Friends doll in the world.
Yeah, you could use.
100%.
I feel like that's the
No,
only one you would have to find someone to be like the Kevin and
I
Detective
I
Lubick,
think
who's the star of this movie.
actually okay, pause on that. I was gonna back up and say if somebody redid it now with like dolls, I think unfortunately they would be using Funko Pop, which seems like a travesty, a crime upon the world. I love so like one of my like pet peeves in like books or movies or whatever where like the main character is like let's say like a mortal human or whatever and they get like spirited away to whatever like fantasy realm and they're like oh no, I have to get back. I have to get back to my shitty life on Earth or whatever. And I really appreciated that he was like, fuck Earth. I'm staying here with my like new hot girlfriend or whatever. Peace out.
I
Like I love that. I thought it was so funny.
ACAB does not include
Yeah,
Detective Lubick in my
yeah.
mind.
Also,
Even though he's the fucking worst and for like the most of the movie.
he is yeah, I would agree with that. But then as soon as he kind of like
Once he realizes
I
he
don't
can fuck all the time in
well,
Eternia.
once he kind of yeah, yeah. Well, like once he kind of like gets with the program where he's like, oh, like space interdimensional planet stuff is happening. Oh, never mind. Like he kind of like I feel like was like, all right, peace out. I'm no longer a cop. I'm just this guy, you know? So
It's
the
so
moment he could turn on the badge, he did. So I think he gets a little bit of credit for that.
it's so funny to me that like they're just like, yeah, you could stay here. Come
Yeah,
live in my fucking castle, I guess.
yeah, why not? They have plenty of
You've
room.
been shooting at me throughout the whole movie, but it's fine.
It's fine. It was just a misunderstanding.
You know, the minute this movie ended, He-Man decapitated him and pushed him into one of those pits.
Yeah.
Probably.
Um, let's talk about Skeletor. He looks cool as fuck
Lumpy.
in all the gold. Once he gets
Oh
all
Yes.
my
those
God,
powers.
when he like becomes the god
Yeah.
Skeletor or whatever, very cool. Yeah, I loved that.
I I genuinely think outside of maybe some of the close-ups on his face, like, I think his makeup looks pretty decent except for the nose.
Yeah.
Like, cause like there was no way, it's got to be like impossible to figure out how to make that nose like not bumped out, but also be like,
Well, it's like you can't like put on makeup that will
make your nose
concave
go away.
his nose. Yeah, exactly.
So like I think
they should have just punched him in the face.
They should have
he
just
deserved it.
ripped his nose off.
You went all the way with this character as it is.
Yeah.
You could have gone one step further and cut your nose off.
I think you could have. I don't think it's too much to ask.
Like,
for theater,
Robert Pattinson probably would.
I think he would, 100%.
I think Skeletor is like Frank Langella is in a different movie than everyone else in this. And it rocks.
Yeah.
I guess he was just like, he immediately was like, yes, I'm in. My son loves these characters. Let's do this. And took it so seriously. Where everyone else is clearly just like, yeah, I can see what we're making. He's like, yeah, art.
A masterpiece, if you will. I will say,
like his real quick, his line delivery is so fucking like stage actory.
Mm-hmm. Like he thinks he's in a play.
He's so committed, and everyone else, like Dolph Lundgren, is like mumbling everything he says to the point that like I feel like without subtitles, I don't know if I would know what he was saying.
I don't know anything he said in the movie, to be honest with you.
Frank Langella is like doing all this shit where he's giving a speech where he's like looking from different camera to a different camera and like hissing like lines of dialogue at people. Shit, it rocks.
He is doing like a Shakespearean play version of Skeletor.
It's incredible.
I wasn't sure what to expect out of his character because I think most of my like view on Skeletor now is shaped by memes, to be very honest. So like in my mind, Skeletor is just like a creepy, funky little guy.
Goof about.
Yeah, like literally
100%.
goof about. His voice to me, I think probably.
I want to be evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a Mark Hamill kind of. It was pretty good.
I want to make a movie where Skeletor and like a 1930s detective hang out.
Please.
I'm not
Skeletor
casting either
Noir
of you,
or whatever.
Just doing gumshoe things.
Yes. Kit, I will step aside and let you have the mantle as voice actor supreme for this role. So I wasn't really sure what to expect, and I feel like, yeah, I definitely agree that he was like, well, and I actually didn't remember that he was in it either, so when I saw his credit, I was like, oh, that's interesting.
What?
And I feel that I wasn't prepared still, but you know, it's fine.
Since you had not seen it before, did you see the post-credit scene?
No, actually.
Bald-ass head pops out of some goo and is like, I'll be back.
No, I watched it on Tubi, and it did that thing where it started playing some Christmas Switch thing. So I didn't, but then I was like reading what the end of credit scene was, but goodness.
It's so weird. Like it's not a thing that I realized existed until like the last couple of years because I clearly was not sitting through the credits as a kid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So like I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, "What the fuck?" You know, apparently the bottom of that pit is just like the pink goo from Ghostbusters 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fuck, there was something I was going to ask Kit, and then I got completely left my mind when Kit did a Skeletor impression.
Literally,
that's his power.
Yeah, took the words right out of his mouth.
It is interesting because, like, the cartoon, from at least my memory of it, is like Skeletor's just doing some hijinks. He's not really doing any like his goal is always
evil.
To like take over Eternia, but he's always doing it by like the dumbest fucking like ideas possible.
It's like Rita Repulsa in Power Rangers, where it's like, I want to take over everything, but I'm hiring the fucking worst people to help me do it.
Yeah,
the
it's
dumbest
yeah,
dummies.
like I would like it. It feels very akin to like the '60s Batman TV show, where it would have been like they're gonna like we're gonna like kill the Batman, but like by putting him in this Rube Goldberg machine that will
Yeah.
like eventually feed him to some piranhas or some shit.
We're gonna wrap him in duct tape.
Or like the
Try and push him down the stairs.
the episode where Robin gets eaten by a giant clam or some
Yeah.
shit. It's like dumbass
Yeah.
shit like that.
We're gonna tie his shoelaces together.
Look, that's scary.
He'll never
hurt
catch us then.
I really want to watch that She-Ra, like the newer one that they did.
Yeah, that's supposed to be pretty good. I never like She-Ra was
But-
something I never paid attention to. Like I've watched the He-Man cartoon, but that was probably just more that like it was a cartoon and I was 5. Because
Right.
like I don't have any fond memories for the cartoon, but I have very fond memories for the toys. Like I
Well,
think
it
I
worked.
was more for the toys than I was the actual cartoon.
Yeah.
Because like honestly, the cartoons I really specifically remember watching that I loved was like I used to watch the shit out of Toxic Crusaders. I remember watching the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes cartoon. And then I feel like my like real memories of like watching cartoons was just like really when like Nickelodeon cartoons took off. Like the like Rugrats, Rocko's Modern Life shit. But I don't like I don't really have strong memories of like that sort of 80s Hanna-Barbera stuff other than like just I know I watched it cuz it was on.
Yeah.
Right.
But like I don't think any of the stuff I don't think it was till like the mid 90s that like cartoons were a thing that I was like, "Oh, yeah, this is the thing that I like really like." Like really probably honestly it was probably like Batman the Animated Series that like really was the first one that was like, "Oh no, this is a thing I actually really like."
I feel like, I mean, obviously He-Man did not really appeal to me because, I'm like, I don't want to watch,
you bind a gender. I get it.
yeah, I don't want to watch a movie about a show about a bunch of stinky men doing stuff. I will say, I do remember liking the look of Orko, and I loved the Battle Cat, obviously. I don't think, when I had it, I don't think that, like, I could have ever been like, oh, that's what this is from. I just thought it was like
You
a
just thought it was
cool
a big
toy.
cat.
Yes, like literally. But I think that the stuff that I remember watching is like Beetlejuice. I liked the real Ghostbusters, Smurfs. Like when I was really young, it was like Smurfs,
My favorite toy
My Little
that
Pony,
I
of course.
wish I still had is I remember I think it was from the real Ghostbusters cartoon, or maybe it was the other Ghostbusters cartoon, but it was a haunted toilet that
Amazing.
that had like wheels on the bottom, so you could roll it, and when it did, like its mouth would pop open and eyes would pop out of the top.
hmm
And I don't know why that was like my favorite fucking toy, because like other than just like rolling it around, it didn't really do anything. It had like no real purpose, like if you were playing with like GI Joes and shit. But
Yeah.
just more toy lines should have a toilet in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say they
Toy
don't
line.
make
Yeah.
toys like they used to.
I'm gonna see if I can
Gum-
find it. I'll send you like a picture of it.
Okay. Gummy Bears was another one of my favorites.
I think my sister
Nice.
watched that. That sounds familiar.
Oh my gosh, I still remember the theme song too, which is a plague.
Best
Oh,
thing to come out
man.
of the 2000s Godzilla was the Godzilla cartoon series.
Was there not a cartoon before that?
I'm sure there was, but this was the one that I watched a lot.
I remember one, but it would have had to have been pre 2000s, I think.
Oh, DuckTales, Tailspin.
Did you ever watch The Mighty Ducks?
Absolutely.
I did not.
Sick as fuck. I wish that's what the movies have been about.
Wow.
Anthropomorphic ducks playing hockey and fighting crime.
Oh yeah, there was a 1978 Godzilla cartoon. This is what I'm thinking of. I don't know if I've ever seen this 2000s one. I am
Oh, you know what?
not sold by the main picture on Google. It looks so 2000.
Oh, it is.
I
definitely.
I feel like I was
watched.
definitely watching a lot of the like 70s Hanna-Barbera shit when I was a kid.
Yeah,
Because
I
this
mean, like,
78 Godzilla looks very familiar to me, and I don't know why this would have been not as a kid, but I was like once probably like in high school when I was like old enough that I was just kind of like making my own fucking bedtime and shit. I would like stay up and just let like the old fucking like wacky races and all that
yeah,
type
I was gonna
shit on
say
like
that
Cartoon
and like
Network when like
the
everything
Looney Tunes.
like Cartoon Network before Adult Swim, like anything after 8 p.m. would just become like the quote unquote old people cartoons. And I would
Yeah.
just sit and watch like wacky races and fucking all that old like the fucking I think Hanna-Barbera did the old Space Ghost cartoon and just
Oh
Mm-hmm.
all of
yeah.
that shit. And then it became even better when they would start playing like the fucking weird cartoons that like Cartoon Network made, like Two Stupid Dogs and shit
Fucking
like that.
loved Two Stupid
Oh my
Dogs.
god, they played that and like Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy and shit like that
Mm-hmm.
that I would watch all the time.
What a program.
Yeah, Cartoon Network just full of bangers in like the 90s and then 2000s once it became Adult Swim. Uh Cartoons pretty good.
Dale.
I
Yeah.
think we could all.
Town Puppies, I'm sure. I feel like a lot of these were like very much geared towards like I said, My Little Pony. I
I'm a,
fucking loved. So cute. Care Bears. Rainbow Bright is still one of my favorite things. Lots of horse stuff, I guess. Didn't realize.
let's see. I'm gonna look up. I'm gonna look at a list
Well,
that's not a
and
comic book
obviously
one.
for me too, it was like Scooby Doo is what I can think of was like one of the oldest ones that I was like
I
super, super
I
into.
never got into Scooby Doo. I
I
watched
love
it
it.
like again because it was a cartoon, but like it was one of those ones where I was just like I hated the characters, and so I never felt like outside of like I guess Scooby having like anything drawing me in.
Hmm.
Until I got older and realized like
You're not a Scrappy Doo
no, fuck Scrappy Doo.
girl.
Your boot.
Also liked the Littles, which was like they were like little tiny people.
All right, let's see. I'm looking at the 15 weirdest cartoon adaptations of all time.
Okay.
Oh my god, there was a Dukes of Hazzard cartoon.
I feel like I remember
Feels
that.
feels racist.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Well, this was not as a kid, but the Clerks animated series is a fucking banger.
Oh yeah.
I spent so much time as like a teenager watching those DVDs. Let's see. Godzilla from '78. Punky Brewster. I don't remember this
Mm,
either. Uh, the Jackson 5 slash the Osmonds.
wow. Okay.
Harlem Globetrotters slash Super Globetrotters. Uh, oh my god, this Super Globetrotters cartoon looks incredible. Where they're all superheroes. One of them looks like he's made out of spaghetti.
Yep.
I'm fucking in. I will watch the shit out of this.
I remember that for some reason. One
Tabitha.
of them is like a big ball or something, a
Yeah, one
basketball.
of them's got their head's a basketball.
Yeah.
Tabitha and
Art.
Adam and the Clown Family, which is a Bewitched adaptation. Do not understand what the Clown Family is. Mr. T, I remember this. When the world had Mr. T fucking mania. Oh my god, Hammerman, the MC Hammer cartoon. I'm about to look to see if I can watch this on Google. I fucking loved MC Hammer as a kid.
That's hilarious.
Like probably fucking MC Hammer and Metallica were like my first two like bands, artists, whatever that I was fucking obsessed with.
Hell
And it
yeah.
was at like the same time. um, Katie probably watched this New Kids on the Block cartoon.
You know what? I actually have never been into New Kids on the Block. I think I just was maybe slightly too young.
Yeah, maybe
If
this
you
was.
if you gave me a Backstreet Boys cartoon show, I would watch
You were
that.
probably like 6 when this first started, or like the one season it had, or whatever. Apparently, there's a
Probably.
Little Shop of Horrors cartoon.
I think I did know about
That
that.
sounds right.
This
Yeah.
looks horrific. Mork and Mindy slash Laverne and Shirley slash The Fonz Hour.
Great. Who is this for?
I mean, this would have
Everyone.
been the 70s probably when this was. Oh no, this was like 82 to 80. Wait, does it say 80? Oh no, 83. I was like, if this ran for 6 years, I'm gonna lose my mind. But it was just one. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, which rocks. I have actually watched that all pretty recently, and it holds up.
Oh, of course. I was about to earlier mention my one of my absolute favorite cartoons, and I forgot it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh
I was
yeah,
like so obsessed with that show that like
that
I
that
was like my
original
Halloween costume.
cartoon
It's so
fucking
good.
rocked.
It's really good. I we should do the movie like
The live
not
action movies.
yeah, but like the
uh,
the good ones.
Real quick, just to end this list, the last two
Hmm.
are the New Adventures of Gilligan slash Gilligan's Planet, which I would probably watch a Gilligan cartoon of them stuck on a planet. And then number one, clearly, Toxic Crusaders.
Sure.
Because
That one doesn't seem weird to me, but
no, if you've seen Toxic Avenger, think about they watched that
pretty weird.
sure,
and was
sure.
like,
Okay,
hey,
yeah.
what if we made a kids cartoon
do
out of this?
Yeah. Okay, fair. I take it back.
That cartoon holds up though. It's so good.
I watch the Karate Kid cartoon.
I don't know if I've seen that. I feel like I probably
I
would have as a kid, but that does not sound familiar to me.
yeah.
What?
Inspector Gadget.
I already forgot what we were getting into
There he
when I
goes.
said let's
He
finish
left.
this cartoon thing. What were you? Do you have any?
Because I was just talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh man, I had that fucking van that shot pizzas as a kid,
Yeah.
and it was
Amazing.
the coolest.
I don't think I had any toys, but I like I said, I went 2 different years as 2 different turtles and for Halloween.
Was
And then
one
I
of them
had like
Ralph?
I think it was I for sure know one was Donatello. I cannot remember the other one.
Fucking nerd.
I think it was probably Mikey, to be honest with you. Um and I had you remember back in the day when we used to have those like zip up footy pajamas that had like the full print on the
Yeah.
front? I had a Ninja Turtle and Little Mermaid.
I feel like I had that too. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I was way into the Ninja Turtles.
I fucking loved it. That and then like later on, obviously not a cartoon, but Power Rangers. I was like really into
Power Rangers
creatures
was a
doing
thing
martial
that
arts.
happened or at least got like real big here around the time I was like, I'm too old for this.
Yeah.
Because my sister was way into Power Rangers and it just never was a thing I like latched onto. Because I feel like she would watch that and like Barney around like the same age, and I was like, what is happening?
You know
This
what?
isn't
I
my
feel
TV. This is weird.
Yeah, right. Yeah, gross. I feel like I had a age where I was watching stuff that was like probably too old for me, but also too young. Like at the age, I don't know, like most of these, the thing that people don't want their kids to see is like the violence, which like whatever. But I feel like there was a time when I was like watching stuff like that, or like Are You Afraid of the Dark? I mean, I know that's like into the 90s or whatever, but I was still watching stuff like David the Gnome and Little Bear just because I found it like soothing. I don't know if you know either of those shows.
Gnomes are not soothing. Also,
Now they're
I was
not.
muted that whole time because he's just sitting here idling his fucking loud ass engine. Jesus Christ.
Kit, what's your
Are you my neighbor?
yeah? What's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Raphael.
All right.
Yeah, should be. Mine is clearly Kevin Nash as Shredder and as Super Shredder in Part 2.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
Also, it's Krang. Everybody loves Krang.
yeah. Fair.
Krang T. Nelson.
Somebody
you-
pick the 3 Ninja Turtle movies for us to watch from the 90s.
I pick it. I
I
pick it right now.
mean,
You
Ninja
know that
Turtles are weird
scene-
little guys.
They are weird little guys.
I gotta
It
look
And
up.
they
fits.
became weird big
Let's see
guys.
if they're streaming anywhere.
They're still kind of little. I remember like really vivid. I'm assuming it was the first one. I think I probably had that on VHS, and I would watch it like over and over again. And I remember specifically the part where like April is like meeting like I don't know if she's it's been a very long time since I watched any of them, but she's basically just like, I don't know like what to do now. Like, do you guys want to just like come back to my place? Like maybe we can get some pizza. And one of them like pops out and goes, "Pizza? All right."
I
And
mean,
it was
I think you know which one it was.
yeah, sure. And it was like the funniest thing. And I remember just like rewinding it and watching it over and over again. And I was like, this is why people hate kids,
So
honestly.
there's a like so Comedy Bang Bang had like this ongoing thing where like one of the characters on it would come on, and he was like his entire thing is that he was a producer in Hollywood, but all he ever wanted to make was ninja movies. And it led to like him talking to Scott Ackerman about Ninja Turtles all the time, to the point that like during the pandemic they started a side podcast called We Have to Stop Talking TMNT on CBB, where they just had Scott Ackerman watch all of the Ninja Turtles shit for like basically the first time, because he was like, my only like knowledge of the Ninja Turtles is in something they pop out and like somebody bites into a manhole cover thinking it's a pizza. And Sean Diston is like, I don't think that's a thing that ever happened, but we're gonna find
like,
out.
Yeah.
Like they watch like the fucking like Ninja Turtles on Ice VHS or some shit that eventually came out, and like all this stuff. It's very fun. I added
The period. Go
I
ahead.
would say I added those live action movies to my watch list because they're currently only for rent on Fandango. So if they pop up on stuff for free, we are absolutely watching those.
Okay. I was gonna say that like the period of time where everything was where somebody was like, you know what? This is a really good movie, but what if we did it on ice? Like
Yeah,
they
we
had
used to
so
be a real
many weird
country.
things
What
on ice.
Yeah.
Right,
Time.
like my
Power
husband's
Rangers. Power
like
Rangers was on ice, I'm pretty sure.
it would have to be. I know Little Mermaid.
How
Then
could it
there's
not be?
there's like this story in my husband's family where like their mom took like him and his sisters to see Seal on ice,
Like the singer,
and like yes,
Incredible.
I'm in.
and my sister-in-law like is convinced that Seal was like actually singing that whole time, and they're like, no, he absolutely wasn't, and you cannot tell her he wasn't singing and ice skating. Which
I mean,
but
was
it's
it
just like
just a Seal concert, but he's on skates?
I guess I have no idea. That's the most context that I've got. I'm gonna try and
His
see
life
Yeah, I'm
story.
googling it now.
it's his life. It's his autobiography that he reads.
Everything is just seals on icebergs.
Seals on ice. Actual seals on ice. Shit.
There has to be footage of this on like YouTube or something, but it's probably gonna be so hard to find because it's just coming up with the actual animals.
Yeah.
How did we get to Seal
Maybe
from
it didn't
fucking
actually happen.
Masters of the Universe?
It made sense to me.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Rewinding a very long time. Rewind 20 minutes ago when we were talking about Orko. I found this thing that says that Orko was always a controversial character. Despite being aimed at small children, older kids and teenagers also watched the cartoon, and they found him annoying.
No,
Gildor,
Orko
however,
rocks.
was silly, but also a little cranky. He wasn't afraid to quip back at the stuffy man-at-arms or impatient Tila. So they basically decided to like pull him into the zeitgeist because he was a little cranky.
Yeah,
Silly and cranky.
we've all been there.
He was just a silly, cranky little guy.
He's got a fucking little grappling gun that he's stealing, like what I assume was a bucket of chicken, as they start saying it's ribs for some reason.
Chickens have ribs.
That's true.
I'd need to know what they eat on Eternia that they all start eating it, and like Tila's like, wait, this was an animal, and is like grossed out by it because I'm like,
Right?
that looks like a desert planet. I gotta assume you're just eating other animals. You probably ate Battle Cat, which is why he's not in this.
No.
They're eating sandworms.
Yeah.
Okay. That's right. They are eating sandworms.
Killing Shai-Hulud's. That's what somebody should have just put, like a big ass Shai-Hulud with like a little guy in a black suit riding it in the background.
There he is.
They live on the Spice Planet.
Yep.
All right. Anybody got anything else about Masters of the Universe? Take that as a no.
I don't think so. I would watch it again.
It rocks.
Yeah.
This is one of those ones that I need Umbrella Entertainment to do, like one of those big ass fucking box sets with like the scripts and fucking essays and shit in it, like they did for Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
I would be fast. Especially because like there has to have been a script for like the sequel. If they got far enough that they were doing like, you know, location scouting and shit, like I would like to read what that movie was gonna be like, because every story about it I've ever heard is insane. Honestly, what I might do is I might just find one of those podcasts that does the movies that were never actually made episodes, because I'm sure somebody's done one on this. Because, oh man, we could have probably been living in like a utopia if that movie would have came out.
I think so.
Just crucified He-Man. That's what the people needed. Yeah, that's a good pick. People.
Yeah, it was actually.
Yeah.
Mac, tell your wife, pick better. Kit, you lucked out not watching that Thanksgiving movie. It was.
Oh my god.
You would have been so mad.
Woof.
All right. I don't think I saw any news in the last like 2 weeks or whatever that was worth talking about. I don't think. Nosferatu's coming out soon, and I can't wait.
What?
Yeah, it comes out on Christmas, doesn't it?
Yeah, that was a joke.
It's like, did you not know that? I think we are gonna go see that.
I think we're gonna try and do the double header of Nosferatu and Baby Girl.
Kit, how you feel about Austin Butler as American Psycho?
God damn it! You know that I typically don't care about remakes, but that is one that I wish they would not fucking do.
Yeah, there's no
But
point.
them saying Austin Butler is like the first time I've been like, well, I'm curious now at least.
I don't have any real love for the original. Like, it's fine. I don't dislike it. I just don't care about it either, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So, like, I am completely out on this entire remake thing. But I feel like Austin, like, I saw a bunch of people be like, no, don't do this. And I feel like he's probably a fine pick. Like, I don't really know who else.
He's great. He'll do good in it.
Like, fucking put Tilda Swinton in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the only news thing that I've seen that was, like, really worth bringing up. I feel like this time of the year, all it is, everything's just about Nosferatu, or it's like end of year lists.
This seems like weird to say, but I do have a very strong opinion about American Psycho, which is that it's amazing and I love it. Austin Butler, I think that this is just like a sign, like it's just a different time, but he doesn't look old enough, even though Christian Bale probably was not actually even that old.
Yeah, Christian Bale was probably like late 20s, maybe early 30s.
I'd imagine they're probably same age.
Yeah.
Me too, but Austin Butler just looks
he
so
just looks like a
baby-faced.
child still to me, even though I know he's probably like mid-30s.
Yeah, so for him to be like Mr. Businessman showing people his card and stuff, I don't know.
I just like, I don't...
That's the big hurdle.
Also,
he's too young to be showing his card around.
Yeah, I think they need to use a hand model, first of all. We need some wrinkles in there when he's showing the card. And
Look,
also,
let's be real.
Is someone killing Jared Leto?
No,
that's the real question.
No one
they should bring him back.
No one in that movie is going to be showing cards. They're going to be showing their LinkedIn profiles.
Well, if I hope not. Here's my QR code.
Design your LinkedIn
I
profile.
fucking hope.
Let's see your link tree.
They update everything in it. So it's like all modern. Like this is instead of like Huey Lewis in the news, it'll be like Taylor Swift.
Yeah, exactly.
In the
you
news.
guys like Imagine Dragons?
Oh man, please. Please fucking put Imagine Dragons in this movie.
They might.
It's like fucking start playing Radioactive.
Yeah.
He's got the axe.
Look, you got.
I hate it.
If some,
Let's do it.
that's like literally what they should do. Is it should just be like shot for shot remake, but the only everything like
Just updating
instead of like the card, it's someone just shows like a fucking phone screen for the LinkedIn profile, and then the music is all just like the most generic pop rock shit on the radio now.
Like top 40, but from like 2012 or something.
I
don't
like that. Like I clearly like I don't care. Like I don't want remakes. I'm fucking tired of them. But I'm like this one is like one of those ones that I'm like, why are you even bothering?
Well, because I feel like too there's a lot of like this is kind of to our point, there's a lot of pop culture references and stuff going on in the movie that I feel like it just doesn't exactly what we're saying, like doesn't translate to like now. So are they remaking it as like a quote unquote period piece?
No, they're gonna make
or are they
MCU
updating it?
references.
Yeah.
And like they're gonna reference like Is It Cake and Love Is
Yeah.
Blind.
Mm-hmm.
30 to 50 feral hogs.
Luckily,
I would
Survivor's been
fucking-
going on the entire time.
Yeah,
so
there you go. Just make Survivor references.
his date's gonna show
Well,
up.
it's timely.
Gonna be like, is the dress blue or white? You know.
I was gonna text Kid about this, and then I didn't. Did you see this fucking Return of the Living Dead bullshit that's going on?
No.
They apparently are remaking / doing another sequel to Return of the Living Dead that apparently is
Oh
going
my
to be a
God.
Christmas movie that
Yes.
comes out.
Is it coming out next week?
It comes out next year. They released a teaser for it that is the tar man walking into a graveyard with covered in Christmas lights.
I love it.
Oh, God.
And it's supposed to be taking place like I think 2 weeks after what happened in Return of the Living Dead. But like I'm just like
Sure, whatever.
Yeah, like I'm just like why? Just
for me.
make it a generic zombie movie. Why does it have to be Return of the Living Dead?
Well, yeah, it's Christmas.
Nope, you got me
The
there.
real, yeah, like the spirit of Christmas just is begging for it.
Uh-oh.
Oh, uh-oh. They're on
There's
the way
crimes
to
happening.
arrest me for saying
Somebody
that.
said send more ambulances.
Yeah.
I feel like there was one other thing they announced recently that was getting like a fucking remake or reboot that I was like, what are we doing?
They did just release a remake of Street Trash that no one knew about.
We'll talk about that off air. If y'all are interested, we might be able to get a screener for that.
Oh, I thought it was already like out streaming.
No, it doesn't. The thing I said said it's gonna be hitting stuff like that in like early January. Let's see. Oh wait, maybe this is just like a UK thing. I don't know. I got like an email that was like, if you want a screener for this, I was like, oh, maybe. We'll see. All right, Katie, what have you watched since the last time we recorded?
Well, what was this? Oh, okay. I watched a bunch of I still have continued to like sprinkle in some of my like holiday movies. And then I watched for the first time Thomas Kincaid's Christmas Cottage. Bad. The only reason I watched it is because Jared Padalecki from Supernatural was like the main character, and I couldn't really follow what was happening, which is not great. I rewatched Uncle Buck, of course.
Of course.
I rewatched, surprisingly, a movie that I really like, and it's not really my thing at all, is The Holiday. Because, Jack Black's in it.
I don't know what that is.
It's
I'm assuming
movie,
it's a Christmas movie, but...
Yeah, it's Cameron Diaz, Kate Winslet, Kate Winslet, Jude Law.
I listened to... Maybe Scott hasn't seen did an episode on that. Some podcast I listened to did an episode on that where like Kate Winslet and like Cameron Diaz like switch houses or whatever.
Yeah, but one lives in
Yeah.
California and one lives in like the UK or whatever. Yeah, I really like it, and I still liked it. So there you go. Then I watched some stuff for Chris Kattanmus to varying degrees of success.
Kit, would you be surprised
Um,
to know that the movie where Chris Kattan plays twin brothers is borderline unwatchable?
I'm shocked to hear this. I cannot believe.
The movie where he plays twin brothers from like 2007 or some shit. Maybe
Oh,
later
that's
that.
even more
May have been
shocking.
like 2012.
I think it
Yes,
was
2013.
2012 or 13,
It's
yeah.
oh man, it was bad.
One of them grew up in like a mental health facility, so let's just leave that where that is. Um, then I like also of course rewatched Corky Romano, and it's still and always will be amazing. So very good. Rewatched Merry Little Batman, which I also liked. I watched something called A Very Nutty Christmas.
Is that the Nutcracker one?
It is, yeah, it stars Melissa Joan Hart. I will watch, I said this in our bonus episode, I think. I will watch any Christmas movie that Melissa Joan Hart or Haley. Why did I forget her name
Haley Joel
again?
Osment.
Yeah, Haley Joel Osment. Um, shit, what's her name? Why do we keep forgetting it?
Stanfield? No,
No,
that's
this,
Hawkeye.
um, oh my God.
You told me it once. I don't remember who it is. So
Who plays Lizzie McGuire?
oh, Haley Duff
Haley Duff. Haley
or
Duff. I'll watch
Hillary Duff
anything
is
with
Lizzie
those.
McGuire. Haley Duff's the
Yeah.
sister.
Haley Duff is the sister, yeah. She and Melissa Joan Hart have been in a lot of Christmas movies. I'll watch anything that they're in. This one also starred Barry Watson, who's from Seventh Heaven, and he is a nutcracker that comes to life. Um, it was very whatever. And then I watched another one with her in it that also had Mario Lopez that was called like A Very Merry Christmas Toy Store or something. Also dumb, but you know what? It could be worse, okay? Then, the only other thing we watched last night, we watched Boy Kills World, which I think Kit would really like if you haven't seen it yet.
I added it to my watch list on Hulu last week, maybe.
Okay. Chris was like, oh, I've been seeing things about this, like, let's watch it. He barely ever says, like, let's watch this movie. And I was like, oh, it looks so stupid. He put it on. And in the first, like, 10 minutes, I was like, yeah, I don't really know about this. Actually, really a banger. It's, like, super gory. And it has, like, kind of like a video game overtone sort of thing. Um, so highly recommend. Like we actually thought it was so good. Um, I think that's it.
All right, what about you, Kit?
I think the only new thing that I watched was Queer, which was very good and gets real insane by the end.
I'm interested. I would definitely was.
Yeah,
That's not something I was like. I'll go to a theater to see this.
I was Tess suggested, and I was like, yeah, sure. I like Luca. I'm not going to try and pronounce his last name. I don't want to butcher it. Uh, but I like his movies, so I'm in. And it starts off as like kind of a funny like queer romance thing, and by the end, there's like fucking vision quests, ayahuasca, fucking telekinesis. It's incredible.
Did you see? He got announced like he's doing a remake of something.
He's the one doing American Psycho.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah. Which
Uh,
is the only other thing where I'm like,
That's
all right, well,
maybe the only part that I'm like, okay, maybe.
yeah.
For some reason, I felt that like there was something else like that got mentioned
was
with him
he
in the news. He did
the one that
Suspiria.
did
Yeah.
Suspiria? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
His
Maybe. Let's see what you have. What
he
you got.
always makes movies that I'm like, I kind of really want to watch this, then I just never get around to like Bones and All, and, like Challengers and shit. Where I'm like, this looks really
Challengers is
interesting.
so good.
I
People loved Call Me by Your Name too.
I almost watched Challengers, so I don't know if we could talk about it yet, but Katie and I got invited to take part in something that I had to actually cram in some movies from recently and actually watch them. So like I spent like a day watching movies that have been on my watch list for a while that like I was like, I know I will like these. I just need to sit and watch them. So I watched Benedetta,
Oh
which
man, hell yeah.
fucking rocks. It's so good.
It's incredible.
I meant to get around to Challengers, which is what brought me to that, and I did not find time for it. But let's see, Benedetta. I watched Dream Scenario, which I also thought was very good. The one where Nick Cage is popping up in people's dreams,
Hmm.
Yeah.
and it I did not expect where that movie was going, but it rocks. I watched Metalocalypse: Army of the Doomstar, which also a banger. This is this is what I watched in one night. Benedetta, Dream Scenario, Metalocalypse, Army of the Doomstar, and then I Saw the TV Glow. All of them 4.5 to 5 stars. It's a good night of watching movies.
Yeah, I didn't get through as much as my watch list as I wanted. It just is what it
Yeah.
is.
I Saw the TV Glow. I watched 8 times in 3 days. That movie is fucking incredible, and I'm obsessed with it now. Uh, I then watched A Night at the Roxbury and then the 3 movies Katie and I did for Chris Kattan, which this episode comes out like, I don't know, a week after that came out. So we watched Corky Romano, Crazy Enough from 2013, and then 2006's The Year Without a Santa Claus live action adaptation with fucking John Goodman as depressed Santa and Chris Kattan as one of the side characters, and it's weird.
Sparky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Surprisingly, cannot say I recommend it, but
I don't not recommend it. It was kind of just
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
They did they did the thing where like they tried to make the elves cool, so they had Eddie Griffith, and fucking Ethan Suplee play the elves. And so obviously Eddie Griffith is like the cool like hip hop elf, and it's fucking weird.
Yeah.
uh, but then after, oh
They're also like fat phobic about Santa.
yeah,
So
well,
that's great.
Santa's gotta lose some weight so he looks cool and can fit into that superhero costume.
Yeah, true.
Uh, After watching Masters of the Universe, I started reading Justin Decloux, I think is how his last name is pronounced. That book Kit got me on Albert Pune movies, and now I'm gonna see if I can go through all of Albert Pune movies in a row.
Hell yeah.
Because he did a secret screening that ended up being the never before seen director's cut of Albert Pune's Captain America, which is a terrible movie that I love, but apparently the director's cut is like supposed to be incredible. Like everyone that ended up on his stream watching it said it is like an entirely different movie and is like super good. And then I told Katie, I hope this isn't a scam. Someone was releasing a very, very limited number of Blu-rays of it, and so I was able to get one. And fingers crossed, that's a real thing that is coming out. I did not just give $50 to some fucking Blu-ray company that is never gonna make it. So we'll see. Because I'm dying to see that. Because I like his Captain America movie, but it's weird because Captain America is a fucking coward throughout the entire thing and like doesn't really do anything. And so I'm really interested. I guess like the director's cut is this like actually really like sad and bleak story of like Captain America just being fucking like depressed and shit and like dealing with the fact that he is like a man out of time. And so I'm really interested to
Yeah.
see what that is like. But I watched The Sword and the Sorcerer, I think it's called, like Albert Pune's first movie.
Oh
Yeah, The
yeah,
Sword
yeah.
and the Sorcerer, which I'd never seen before, and it's pretty good.
Slaps.
Like, not the best fucking Sword and Sandals movie or whatever I've ever seen, but pretty solid fucking start to your career. And I think that's it. Just watching Survivor and new season of 90 Day Fiance, The Last Resort started, and it's insane. All right. Shout outs, Katie.
I already mentioned it, but I'm gonna shout out that Toys That Made Us show. It's really good.
All right. What about you, Kit?
I'm gonna shout out Dropout, which is all of the old College Humor people moved on to a different thing called Dropout, which is a while ago, but I've just been binging all of their stuff lately. Uh, Very good, very funny, and they treat all their collaborators right because they just announced today that they're doing like sharing of their year-end profits with everyone.
Oh,
So they're real. Check them
they didn't
out.
fire everybody to pivot to AI.
Correct. The anti BuzzFeed.
They did the
Yeah.
opposite.
My shout out the Blood Brothers. I went and saw the Blood Brothers Friday, and they're still very fucking good. The crowd, hot garbage. Everybody,
Wow.
my experience of going to shows in New York City is that nobody cares about any of the bands, and they just all go to hang out and talk over everybody playing sets, and it drives me crazy. Every show
Yeah,
I've
stay
fucking
home.
been to, I'm like, why are you here? One guy next to me at the Blood Brothers, while Satiia was playing, pulled up YouTube videos of Satiia and was watching them at full volume. And I was just like, what the fuck is going on? But Blood Brothers were incredibly sick, and uh, yeah, they were fucking great. So they made me forget that the entire crowd was the worst.
Fair.
All right. If you would like to, well, I don't. We haven't talked about what we're doing next, so I don't know what our next episode will be. There may be a week in between this episode and another one coming out. We're gonna take a little break for like 2 weeks, and I'm
Yeah.
not sure what the fucking timeline of the episodes actually coming out and the next time we record is, but we'll have something. We'll be back to Weird Little Guys next episode. Uh, Not Ninja Turtles though. Those Weird Little Guys aren't streaming anywhere yet.
And
Sad.
Yeah, if you'd like to support us, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/IBSufferPodcast. They already came out, but like we recorded a bunch of episodes in advance, and I'm not sure when stuff was fucking set on the other ones. But Katie and I recorded a episode on Merry Little Batman and Batman Unburied, which Batman Unburied fucking just released the Jonathan Snipes score on like digital and stuff, and it's very good. So go listen to that. And then we did
yeah, to clarify, it's like an audio
yeah,
drama
like a
podcast.
podcast that fucking
Highly recommend.
is very good.
Spoilers. Yeah,
Winston Duke as Batman, perfect casting. Make that live action, please.
very
I
good.
would pay so much
Yeah.
money to see Winston Duke play Batman in a movie. And then we did Chris Kattan Miss with varying results. Katie only does the Girl Scout cookie line, I think, twice.
I was I was so beaten down by Crazy Enough. Just Crazy Enough or whatever.
Yeah,
We yeah.
the that definitely not as good as the previous year when we just watched Monkey Bone and A Night at the Roxbury.
Yeah, can confirm.
um,
At least we had Corky Romano to like tie it up, but
yeah,
I
now
think we've
next year is going to be a real bummer. I think.
yeah, it's gonna be like when we used to do Stephen King month where we're just like, all right, that's it. There's no more.
Yeah, after like
We cannot continue.
the first two, we were like, well, we're out of good Stephen King
That's
movies.
it. Yep.
Now I guess we're doing fucking whatever weird straight to fucking Tubi bullshit they're doing now. We should do a
Yep.
Stephen King month again and just watch the fucking some real garbage.
Just the Langoliers.
Yeah,
The whole
we
month.
should only do the fucking miniseries one, so we have to watch like 4 hours of something every week.
Great.
Katie take fucking 13 pages of notes. Every episode is 4 hours. Yeah, we'll do the Langoliers, The Stand, both versions. 1 week we'll do the fucking original versus remake. So we
Oh
watch
my God.
8 hours of fucking TV,
I am so tired just thinking of the prospect of
and then
that.
we'll do Salem's Lot original versus remake.
No.
Oh
I
God.
I cannot watch Salem's Lot again. There's no way.
Yeah, join our Patreon. Then you can pick movies like Masters of the Universe for us to watch if you sign up for the right
Yeah.
tier.
Yeah.
Just make us watch Masters of the Universe every month. No,
Yeah.
don't do that. Uh, you can leave us a rating and review on iTunes and Spotify and all that shit. Don't comment on anything on Spotify because I don't know why there's comment sections of podcasts now on there, but it's the worst.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah, they did made it so you can like leave comments on podcast episodes and hot take, they're all bad. Don't do it.
Yeah. It's almost as bad as the "Are you afraid of the dark" Wikipedia comments.
I swear I always end up accidentally seeing one on whatever political podcast I listen to, and I'm like, God damn it, I hate everything. You can follow us on Instagram at Ivy Suffer Podcast. You can follow Kit at Hidden Kitstery and Kitchification of Blood. You can follow Katie at Werewolfface. Join Katie's Patreon at patreon.com/werewolfface. You can listen to my other podcast, NK Movie Club. All right. Next episode. Something weird little guys. Mac and me again.
Yeah.
All right. I have the power, but why? Can't believe this took this movie till literally right before the credits to get him to say I have the power.
I was gonna say, wait, I was gonna say, like, did I miss it, or did he not literally say it till like right at the end of the movie?
He doesn't do it till the very end. Like
Does he
the entire
have to say that to do his power?
Yes,
like
so
his
he's
sword power?
in the
So,
cartoon. Like we're diving into this at the end. Like in the cartoon, he's like Prince Adam or some shit, and then when he says he holds up the sword, says I have the power, he becomes He-Man, and they don't do that at all in the fucking the movie.
yeah,
I'm
that's really
shocked
bizarre.
the movie wasn't like how he became He-Man, which I feel like is what it would be now. The entire thing would be like
origin story.
pre him even being He-Man until like the last 20 minutes. So I guess at least he was He-Man in it, but it's wild that they didn't have like an I have the power moment at the beginning, and then maybe like he loses that when he's dropped on Earth.
Yeah, that would have been cool. And so they were like, let's make this movie and have him be like a side character.
What if this movie was about Courtney Cox and her boyfriend lighting a school on fire?
It should have been, honestly.
I mean, that's basically what it was. Like 90% of this movie is Courtney Cox and her boyfriend being harassed by a cop.
That's true. There was an explosion.
I guess well, I don't know. Courtney Cox is super white. She'd probably be fine. I don't think the cops would be bothering her.
I doubt
But her
it.
fucking punk delinquent boyfriend Kevin in his leather jacket definitely would be getting harassed.
That's right.
All right. Masters of the Universe rocks. Everyone go watch it. The end. Goodbye.
Bye.